What I would tell you is it typically is not going to be some sort of, hey, this one thing did this one thing. It's really about consistency and frequency. So you need, because that's probably the biggest thing with any type of advertising, is that you have a consistent message that's always in the marketplace, that you also have frequency, that you're seeing enough times that you're going to generate a result. But it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be 100,000 leads coming through. It's going to be a consistent amount of leads and business coming through. There's really no panacea that's going to just instantaneously, unless something goes viral or something like that. But typically, it's all going to be about consistency and frequency to give you, just regular, measurable results over time.
They're both still very important, and we achieve them in different ways now. And so with reach, it used to be, it'd start with what's your potential reach versus your actual reach. And so broadcast stations, they always say, well, we have 100% reach. It's like, no, you don't. You have 100% potential reach. It requires the viewer to tune in. And right now, a good broadcast station here in Austin, they might reach 50% of the market. They can potentially reach 100%, but they actually reach, their achieved reach is far lower. Same with cable. So, if our subscribership is half the market, that doesn't mean that you're going to reach half the market. You're going to reach the people who tuned in. So it's not about reach. It's not about potential reach. It's about your actual reach, and it's really more about the frequency that you deliver with your message. And as long as you're targeted to the right person, you definitely want a high reach number, but you need to make sure that the targeting is precise as possible. And you want a solid reach with a good frequency. That frequency number there's been a lot of debate over that. So some people say 3. I kind of like 5.
Reach and frequency is a media measurement that we've used for years and years. It doesn't matter if you bought TV or whatever in the 1980s. These numbers have always stayed the same. But a frequency of 3 basically means that the household that you're serving the ad to is going to see your campaign 3 times or more per month, or wherever, however long your campaign is going. And we use that 3 as kind of like the basic measurement of, we want you to see it at least 3 times, because it does take a minute for that ad recall to happen. Someone who can see a commercial once, and we're busy people, we forget. We need to see it a couple times in order for it to start to resonate. For a reach, that means the number of households that your campaign is reaching. That's usually in a percentage. Sometimes they'll give it in a whole number, like your campaign reached 150,000 households, or it reached 97% of the homes in the area. And for reach, above a 60% is great, but again, as media evolves, we're looking more towards the audience that you're reaching instead of just the households that you're reaching. So we could say it reached 60% of households, but of those 60% of households, how much of that is your demographic? So we more look at the reach these days on how much of your demographic did the campaign reach. So those are kind of the metrics. But if you have like a 10 frequency and a 90% reach, you're golden. I mean, that's a good campaign. So I would say look at those numbers and pay attention to them and make sure that they're good. But all in all, the biggest thing is the audience that you're reaching. Are you reaching the person that you need to be reaching?
There's no magic number on that one. And so what I recommend is, you obviously want as much reach as possible, because the more people who see your message that are likely to do business with you, the more people that are likely to walk through your door. But frequency is extremely important, because frequency is all about top of mind awareness, and it's about your customers seeing you enough times to remember you whenever they're in the market for your product. So a good rule of thumb is buy the frequency you need and all the reach you can afford. And what that means is reach and frequency work like on a seesaw. So if you're only buying one network, let's say ESPN, and you buy 1 million impressions, you're going to have a massive frequency because the only people who see you are going to be seeing you on ESPN. So then if you add 3 more networks, then you're going to extend your reach, but you're going to reduce your frequency because now you've taken impressions off of ESPN and distribute them on these other 3 networks. Your reach goes up, which is a great thing. Your frequency comes down, which in that example, it would also be good because you would have an unreal frequency and you would be causing ad fatigue. So you need to determine what your frequency goal is, and then make sure that get all the reach you can afford while maintaining the frequency. So in that example that I gave you, it's like, okay, so if I'm only buying ESPN, now I'm going to also add HGTV, and then I'm going to add Discovery Channel, and then whatever else. As long as you're maintaining your frequency, you can keep expanding your platforms, your networks, whatever else you're doing. But you need to have whatever you determine your frequency goals to be, minimum of 3. I kind of like 5. I've heard people looking for 12. I think that's excessive, depending on the time period. But they need to see you often enough to know you and to remember you, to have a brand relationship with you, because it's familiarity. Familiarity breeds trust. And so the more times they see you, the more comfortable they become with you. If they only see you one time, that's like meeting a stranger. Meeting someone. If at a party, if you go to 5 parties and you see the same person at every party, there's familiarity there, and so you can get to know that person a little bit better. There's a little bit of trust level. I know this person; they didn't murder me the last 4 times I saw them, so we're building trust. So and it's about frequency is how you build a brand relationship. If you build too much frequency, then that's ad fatigue, and they're like, oh, you're clingy here. So let's not overdo it. Let's not get over too much in my face. You're invading my personal space here. So so enough times to be comfortable with you, and but not too excessive, and then spread those impressions out as much as you can while maintaining that frequency minimum, whatever you think it is for your business.